We're back in Pendle Hill country. We've left you stranded for a couple of months. So we just a quick video, check an update, see what we've been on with. So we've got a couple of the aspects fired off now. They're all pointing up nicely. I think we finished this one maybe 6 weeks ago. So that's curing nicely. Just follow the property around. So if you remember, that structure is 300-year-old. This structure is 250. And that structure is 200. So once we've pointed everything up, hopefully, because there's different walling styles in the way that each builder's built it, so hopefully once we've pointed everything up, it'll be all blended in nicely. So we've taken Hessians was on the wall for a month, so 4 weeks following completion of the pointing up. That just allows like a technical set to the finished mortar. And there's if you have a look at the building, you can see where it's drying in patches. But don't forget, we back pointed a big chunk of these walls first. So there's quite a depth of mortar. So it will take probably till springtime before it settles into that final colour. Yes. So yeah. So originally we were going to paint all this building. As you can see, just inside of the red line, that's where a porch is going to be going. It's pointless us painting everything up and then covering it up with the extension. So going round here. So this particular aspect has been back pointed. I think we finished that one maybe about a month since, and we've been dragged off onto the other side of the property. So all this is ready to point up now. So for now, the next job, probably next week, we'll go and we'll make a start on that. So we just watch out for getting run over. So this is the 200-year-old barn. So this has been raked out, ready for us to start pointing. The scaffold's gone up. So that's the front. So that's the next aspect that we're going to be getting stuck into. But we had a bit of an issue with access to the job up here because you could only get one car up there. So we were a bit bothered about if there was any accidents, requiring the emergency services, fire engines, ambulance. They still need to get access up here. So what we did with two separate scaffolding firms wouldn't even quote for this job because of the access issue. But we used upright scaffolding from Paddy Hill, and they're superb. They turned up and like, yeah, no problem, we can sort that out. So they put the front structure up, and then they've hung this gantry at the top off the front structure and tied it into the building. So we haven't got scaffold lifts on this side. We have a sliding platform here. So there's this sliding platform that can go up and down these uprights. So it's ideal. We can adjust it to whatever height we want. At this height here, it's above the traffic height, so there's no issues there with it bothering the neighbours or anything. So this aspect was completed about 3 weeks ago. We've still got the Hessians on to protect it from the frost because we're getting into November now. We can have a little sneaky peek. So it's looking nice, is that? That's curing even more. You can see there where the damp's coming through, where the back point, so that yellow staining, as the complete structure dries out, it'll all dry out to a nice even finish. So this is the lift that we're finishing today. So all this has been, I think we scratched this off yesterday, maybe day before. So you can see it's patchy, but it will dry to like a flat, even colour. It's going to take quite a long while to dry out with this because when we came to have a look at the job, water was cascading down here, down this side. So it's been cascading off this corner for years upon years. There was trees and ferns growing out there. It was like a little jungle. So it's taking a lot longer for this this particular section of the wall to dry out. But we'll go up and have a look and see what we've been up to. Good job. So you can see these are the sliding platforms that just slide up and down, so we can have a platform at whatever height we want, still allowing access up to the houses. So it's a really good design, is this. That's why it's worth getting a good relationship with your scaffolders, because as soon as we rang them up, we says, "Oh, I've got an issue here, don't know how to access this." No problem. Otherwise we do it off a ladder and we don't want that. So we've pointed all this section up, it's all been back pointed, finish pointed. So we did this yesterday, so it's not quite green hard, because I can stick my thumb into the mortar. So that'll probably be ready to scrape up on Monday. Today's Friday. I think this has been on the wall maybe 3 days, and we've just scratched it up today. So yeah, so that was done yesterday. So when we scrape that back, use the gauge, and we've scraped it back, and you can see how soft that is. So if your mortar at home on your project is that soft, leave it. Come back in a couple of days and it'll be ready to scratch off, and you'll get a nice flat solid finish. So on this particular aspect, there's been a new roofs going on here, and they've replaced the old timbers with new, but the spars came out, so every spar protruded from this wall by a foot, 2 foot. So what we've had to do is, because we can't leave the timber protruding from the face and wall around it, because we'll get rot into the end grain. So what we have done, I don't know if you can just see in there, or can you see that roof spar? So these protruded out. So what we've done is we've cut them back to maybe 3 or 4 inch from the arris, and then we've painted the end grain with bitumen, because they've got a drip tray here. So what we're hoping is the water will be dripping in and getting down to the ground as fast as possible. But if there is any chance of water ingress, because we've bitumened the end grain of the timber, there isn't going to be any issues with any rot. So these spars were protruding maybe every metre or 800 mil. So we just cut them off, bitumened them, and then we're going to patch this in now. So we're going to show you how we do patching. So we've just got, so all this roof line's been repatched, keep that water out. So because we're working with lime, there's a lot of suction from the background, so we're just going to mist, just a light mist in there, and that stops the background from pulling moisture out of the mix. So we've got a nice slow cure on the mortar, be nice and solid. There's not going to be any spelching of the face, any damage to the stonework. So when we're walling with lime, we want the actual masonry to hold the structure together. We don't want to be relying on our mortar to be holding the structure together like we would do with the cementitious mortar. So all our lime mortar's doing is acting as a cushion between the substrate and whatever we're walling. In this case, it's this local grit stone. So all we're doing is we're just smearing the stone with the lime mortar. So we're after like 10 mil beds, no more, like that. And then, luckily, we have selected some stones that are going to fit in here perfectly. So we've got that arris there, that timber arris that the roof line drip tray is sat onto. So we're just walling up to that arris there. So we've got a nice wedge-shaped piece of stone. We'll go in there. So if it was cement-based masonry, that'd be too tight a joint, but because we're building with lime, we want to rely on the masonry to hold the wall together. So that'd be perfect with that nice tight joints. Some more mortar. So when we're patching in, we don't want any stones to be like fascia stones. We want every stone here to be functional, so reaching into the wall. So, what's the one that can go next? You can just go in there, give that a little tap, make sure it's nice and snug. Yeah. More mortar on the side. And then we have a void behind there. So what we can do with the voids is we can pack them out with old bits of mortar, bits of stone, just so we've got a solid background. There'll be no issues with any voids or any moisture sitting behind there. So we just put these little packers in, sit them snug, so we've got a solid structure behind here. That's it. So the roof line is quite an important part of a lime constructed wall, because as the sun gets on it, hot air rises, and as that hot moist air rises up to the top of the wall plate in here, it can get out then. So we have a breathable membrane on the roof, which is going to let any moisture or air pass through it. So we're not left with any damp spots in this this structure, which is going to allow water ingress and subsequent mould. So I've got a tricky part now, because my spar finishes there about a finger's width into the wall. So all I've done is I've found this bit of stone that's just going to sit in there like that. What I can do is point that up and put some packers in. So just get a little bit more mortar in there. Get it under there. Use the side of the trowel, side of the small tool, sorry, just to pack that out with mortar. So you don't want any voids in there. It's a nice tight joint. Just put the packers in there. Some mortar up there. And so this is the only fascia stones that I've got in the wall, because don't forget, I've got a finger's width there, so I can't have any stone reaching into the wall. So I found this piece of stone that'll just fit that triangle spot there perfectly. Like that. And then we can just give that a little tap in place. Like that. So now, what I can do is I can just finish pointing this up. I've got my bag full of decorative gravel packers, and with them we can just fill in all these larger joints around those pieces of stone, because that allows for the lime mortar to cure optimally then, because we haven't got any big joints of mortar. So everything's just packed nice and tight, put them back in there, and all I can do then is just to point that up. So with the small tool, I've got I can get more pressure on the end of the tool, just to exclude any air from these joints. A little bit more on. Nice solid joints there. Use the end of the tool just to pack it up. Pack it in, that be big room. There are some packers in there. So we don't have to be too particular about getting a nice tidy finish at this point, because when we come to scrape it off, we're going to clean up around the arises there, so it'll be nice, and be a nice tidy job once it's scraped up. So all we're focusing on now is just excluding all air from around these patching stones that we've put in, just so that when the mortar cures, we have a solid joint there where there's not going to be any water ingress. There's not going to be any movement in the stones. Yet the air can still permeate that this mortar membrane. A little bit more on there, just like that. So this is a 3-to-1 mix that we're using here. So in that mix we've got a grit sand, 2 buckets of grit sand, we've got a bucket of granite dust and a bucket of 3.5 NHL 3.5. Put some more packers in there. So I've been building with that mix, and we've also been pointing with that mix. The only difference that we'd have in the mix is when we do the back pointing mix, we put some ballast in there just to build out those wider joints properly, so that the mortar cures. Plenty of packers in it. And the ballast that we use is ideal for that because it comes ready mixed with various aggregate sizes. So when we use the ballast mix, we've got a standard mix that we're using every single time that we're doing the back pointing. We know that there ain't going to be issues with it cracking, shrinking, or retarding in any way. We've got like a reliable mix. Going to get that mortar right into that joint there, so there's no potential chance of any moisture entering this masonry structure. Get a little long packer in there. Point that up. Just that little section left now, isn't there? So use the edge of the trowel just to compact that joint up full of mortar. Like that. Same again. So that's the patching done, all the pointing done. Oh, it's just a little bit here. So this point here is where the 250-year-old structure meets the 200-year-old structure. So this is 50 years newer, and it's been really interesting as we've been working on this project to see just how it will put together. There's the return on what would have been the gable there, going back 250-year-old, and then all they've done when they've put the new structure on is just to follow that angle and reflect it on the gable end down there. So it's literally just a like-for-like extension of the property. So we've got quite a big void in there. You can get there's nearly a hand's width in there. So what we have to do build it out in layers. So we just mist it down again, stop that suction on the background. So we could use the ballast mix for this. It would be ideal, but while you're here, we'll do 6 inches and we'll just show you how we go about it. So initially, what we're doing is we're just filling that joint up there, so when we put our larger stones into watering, we've got a bed of mortar there. You can just see Don't forget, because it's almost a dry stone construction, we don't want loads of mortar. We're going to rely on the actual structure holding itself together. So what we can do is we've got loads of different kinds of stones, and we can just place them in here. I'll just get me knocking stick. And we can just bed these in as we're going up. Just like that. Exactly the same as on the patching. We just fill in either side with that mortar. And we want that solid structure. So no air gaps where water can sit, where frost can get in and generally cause damage to the structure. Just packing that up. Point it up. By relying on the masonry to provide stability to the structure and stop that water ingress, we know, well, water can't pass through stone. The only way it can pass is through a badly pointed or a badly patched job. But as you can see here, we're doing it right. So no moisture will be getting in to where these two buildings meet. It's just a case of quietly away, just walling it in. What you can do is you can use the packers, because there we've got like more than an inch of mortar, so that will be less inclined to cure efficiently. So we're just packing it out with these filling stones. It's exactly the same as the patching that we did on the front of the house when you last saw us. Like so. And then get some more packers in. So it's a much slower construction process to using cementitious mortar, but it's way better in the long run for the property. We dry the property out, let that any moisture trapped in the cavity to leave the property, still keeping it waterproof. There we are. So what we're going to do is we'll just carry this on up to the top. And then we'll come back on Monday, point that up, and then this aspect will be finished then. Scaffold can come down, and we can move on to the next aspect. So yeah, we'll probably come back in, actually, I think we'll come back on the next aspect, and we'll show you how we actually put the mortar into the wall. So until then, enjoy yourself.